Hey friends, it's Holly from Chic Antique and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to paint laminate using Dixie Belle's chalk mineral paint and their slick stick primer. So if you're excited for this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get started. Alright friends, here's the piece we're going to be working on today. It is a laminate dresser. This is actually the piece from my last video. I showed you guys how to repair a particle board drawer. So if you missed that, make sure to check that one out. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start as we always do by first removing the hardware. Whether or not you're going to keep the original hardware or replace it, you always want to remove it first just so that you can clean underneath it. Or if you're going to be keeping it, you do want to get a good clean on this hardware, and it's easier to clean it once you've removed it. After we've removed all the hardware, we're going to give this piece a good cleaning using Dixie Belle's White Lightning Cleaner. I'm going to be mixing a couple teaspoons of this with some warm water. And now I'm going to be wiping down this entire piece using a microfiber rag. And I don't show it on film, but I do take all of the drawers out, clean inside the drawers and inside the piece. You always want to do that so that you can have a clean canvas to work on, and once you sell the piece you do want to have a clean professional finish, so you do want to go ahead and clean the outside as well as the inside. And here's what that dirty water looked like. After using a cleaner, you always want to rinse the piece using clean, clear water. Now, after cleaning, I'm going to be doing some repairs, so I'm going to be filling in any dings or scratches with Dixie Belle's Mud. This is Dixie Belle's version of wood filler. It's not as strong as Bondo or a traditional wood filler, but I didn't have very much damage on this piece, so I'm just going to use Dixie Belle Mud for this. And a tip when you're going around edges like this that are curved, it is a lot easier to use your finger, so I definitely recommend doing that. After letting that dry for a couple hours, I'm coming back with a 220 grit sandpaper to smooth that out. And I'm feeling with my hand as I go along to make sure it is smooth and flush with the piece. And for the flat surfaces, I'm using that sandpaper on a sandy block just to make it easier. Now to remove the dust, I'm first going to be going in with a cloth to remove any excess, and then I'll be using a tack cloth to get any remaining dust. Now since this piece is laminate, I'm going to need some help with adhesion, so I'm going to be using Dixie Belle's Slick Stick Problem Solver. This bonds to any glossy non-wood surfaces so that your paint can adhere properly. I'm going to be applying this with a roller today, just makes it a little bit easier, and I'll be doing 2 coats of this. and just continuing with that slick stick on the rest of the piece. One thing to note about this primer is it does not level out like the chalk paint, so I recommend using a roller over a chip brush because a roller is not going to show those brush strokes, anything like that. Also, you do need to throw away whatever you use to apply this. You cannot rinse this in your drains, it will clog them. So I would recommend a roller over a chip brush because a chip brush is going to leave brush strokes. Alright, now onto that second coat, just showing you what that looks like on the drawers. And here's what that second coat looks like on the top of the dresser. Your first coat does need to dry for 2 to 3 hours, then you can come back for your second coat. After your second coat, you do want to wait overnight for this to cure and harden down to the piece, and then you can go ahead and start painting. For paint today, I'm going to be using Dixie Belle's Chalk Mineral Paint in the color Fluff. I'm going to be using a spray bottle and my Sloan chalk brush. It's pretty hard to see this on camera because it is a white, but this is probably my favorite white that Dixie Belle has. It has a bit of a gray undertone, so it's not that super bright, stark white. Cotton is definitely brighter and more white than this one, but Fluff is my favorite because it does have that gray undertone to it. Personally, I think Fluff is more versatile in different styles and in different spaces. I feel like cotton, it's so bright, it looks best in like farmhouse and just traditional home styles, but I think fluff has more versatility because it has that gray undertone to it. Now here's what that first coat looks like on the drawers. Here's what that second coat looks like on the top of the dresser. It's a little bit easier to see the paint going on from this angle, but since it is a white, it's pretty hard to see in general. Have any of you guys used fluff before? I'd be curious to know your thoughts if you enjoyed it. I'm hoping one day I can repaint my bedroom set. It's just been thrown on the back burner for years now, but I would like to use this color on at least one of the pieces in my bedroom, probably my dresser. I think that would be really pretty. Let me know if you enjoy using this color. I'd be really curious to know. Now moving on to the drawers, just showing you what that looks like. Another benefit of using that primer is I only needed 2 coats of paint after that, because it did help a lot with that coverage starting out with 2 coats of primer. If I didn't use that primer, I would have needed 4 coats of paint, since white has less of an opacity than other colors. After letting the paint dry overnight, I'm going to be sealing it with Clear Coat in Satin by Dixie Belle. I'm going to be keeping my brush damp and applying it with a synthetic brush. I'm applying this as quickly as I can in straight lines, smoothing them out as I go, trying not to overwork this, because the more you work it, the less it's going to self-level, because it starts to dry once you're brushing it. So you do want to work this very quickly in order for it to self-level on its own and get that smooth finish. and just continuing with that clear coat on the drawers to showing you what that looks like. I did do 2 coats of this for extra protection, but I did want some more durability on the top of this dresser. So next I am just going in with 1 coat of Dixie Belle's Gator hide. This is their most protective top coat. It is water repellent and super durable. So I'm just going in with 1 coat of that for extra protection. Dixie Belle sells a sponge that works for this product, but I do prefer a brush, just personal preference, but you can use a brush or that blue sponge that Dixie Belle sells. And like the clear coat, you want to make sure not to overwork this because it's going to look thick and streaky. So you want to apply this in thin coats, keeping your brush damp and applying it quickly. And now that it's complete, just want to remind you what we started with. And here's how it looks now. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this makeover today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll have my latest video where I repaired the drawers on this dresser linked up here in the eye, as well as down below. Feel free to check out some of my other videos before you leave. And I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Hey, before I forget, I bought that drill bit a while ago and it's right there if you ever need to use sockets on your drill.
Okay, probably never, but congratulations.
Well, FYI for your information.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you're stupid. Okay. Yeah, just yoink it.
Bye, Holly.
Bye, Ricky. Okay.